There are thousands of AI tools on the market right now. New ones launch every week, and they are all competing for your attention. They're competing for your attention, your subscription fee, and then the time that you will spend setting them up before realizing that they don't quite do what you actually need. So this video is not just a list. It's a list because I'm going to tell you the tried and tested tools that actually work. But as there are more and more tools coming onto the market every single week, I need to give you the tools to continue to filter and understand which ones are actually worth it. Not just a list that will be out of date in a couple of months' time. So let me first introduce you to the question that I use to assess AI tools, and the one that you can use, because trust me, hundreds more will be coming your way. So the question that you need to ask is, does this tool serve a workflow I've already defined? Or am I hoping the tool will define the workflow for me? For example, trying to use Jasper AI to magically do your marketing strategy will not work. Understanding your funnel and then supplementing that with agents is what will actually work. And if you ask yourself the question about the tool you're thinking around, and the answer is the second one, stop. Go and define the workflow first. What are the steps? What triggers the next action? What does done actually look like? Once that is clear, the right tool becomes very obvious, and you'll know immediately whether the next shiny thing you're looking at is actually worth your time or not. And if you're not clear on your workflows yet, but you do want to use AI tools properly, I have a free business diagnosis in the description of this video, and that will show you what needs fixing first, so you can understand workflows that could have AI tools that will be compatible and actually helpful. Because most people skip this part of understanding what their workflows are and therefore which tools are actually useful. It's so easy to get swept up in. But if you really want to harness the actual power of AI, because it is powerful and it is useful, the businesses getting real results from AI are the ones that have defined their operations and processes first, and then brought in the tools to execute those operations faster and better. So that's the lens that you need to have, and that's the lens that everything that I'm going to recommend to you is built on. Now, for people who already want to have those operations and processes and foundation built for them, I have the complete business blueprint, which is every workflow you ever need and is optimized for AA implementation. So grab that for yourself because I've done the hard work for you. But now onto the tools that I actually recommend. Every business, after its foundations, needs a thinking layer. And simple as it may sound, the best for these are your classic ChatGPT and Claude AI. These are your primary AI thinking partners. And I would argue as well that they're the only tools most people need to start with. Not necessarily because they're even the flashiest and can do the most, but because the depth of value you can get from either of them far exceeds what most people actually extract from them. Sadly, most people use LLMs as of Google, but using these two products properly with clear prompts are actually two of the best tools that I have used in the last 5 years. ChatGPT is the most widely used for a good reason. It's capable, it handles text, images, audio, and the interface is intuitive enough that you can move quickly through it, but it's very, very easy to understand. It's a simple chatbot. You don't need to understand coding, you don't need to understand how to input information. People are underusing it though. There are two main ways in which you can take this tool that I recommend and make it even better for yourself. The first one is to give clear prompts. Clear, useful instructions. I have a free resource that is a list of 100 prompts that are really useful for business building, but a lot of people use it like Google when actually giving it clear instructions and outcomes is the best way. Now, the second best way is to have it as almost a secondary employee, using the voice mode. You can talk through a business problem while you're walking, you can ask it to critique your thinking, you can use it as a soundboard, and after you've had a long conversation on a topic where you've got out of your head, you can then ask ChatGPT to summarize everything into a structured document. And to be honest, that one capability alone is worth paying for the pro version. I use ChatGPT for thinking and research, for talking through problems, for analysis, for brainstorming, for pulling apart a strategy. It's almost like having a second person in my business where I need to think through something out loud and essentially have someone to talk it through. It's also unbiased, so you can ask it to critique it and find holes in what you are working on. It's hugely underutilized, And ChatGPT is actually one of the best on the market still for this. But I don't actually recommend ChatGPT for writing, which is what a ton of people do. I get frustrated. I feel like I talk to it like it's a person. So I don't use ChatGPT for any of my writing anymore. Claude is where I go for that. Specifically, because voice and consistency matter for me, and Claude is just a lot better at handling this. The feature that a lot of people aren't using with Claude is Claude projects. Here you can create a project for a specific type of output, whether that's your LinkedIn posts, your proposals or your pitches, your client comms. In this, you can upload examples of your best work, give it clear instructions, and then Claude will learn your style. It actually learns your style a lot better than any other tool on the market, and it means that the projects start to sound like you, and you don't have that awful generic AI copy that we can all tell when it's written by AI. When looking at all the large language models on the market right now, I actually don't think that ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini are any better. But ChatGPT and Claude fits my workflow, so I use both. Now, main shout out to the tool that I use every single day and have used every single day for the last 6 years, and has generated not only thousands of dollars of revenue for me, but also for the clients I work through. And that is Notion, which I'm bucketing as an AI tool because it does have Notion AI. I build every client operating system in Notion. It's where tasks, projects, people, meetings, pipelines, knowledge, wiki, mood boarding, everything sits in one huge connected structure. And then Notion AI is built directly into the product and the workspace, so it's a bit easier than using any other standalone AI tool. If you think about it, a standalone AI tool doesn't know anything about your business. If you build your operating system and business within Notion, then Notion knows your formats, your templates, your previous decisions, your project history. You can ask it to write a proposal, and it can reference something you've done before. You can ask it to pull action items from meeting notes, and it understands the context of those meetings because they're built in the same system. It also pulls from one space, so it's quicker and easier than trying to use things like Make and Zapier to bring those automations together. I actually have built businesses on the free Notion plan alone and not implemented the Notion AI because actually, with their free plan, they have many automations and AI tooling in the form of buttons and roll-ups and formulas. But Notion is by far one of the best tools in the market, hands down. And Notion AI is complementary if you want that very easy bridge between having your foundation set up and adding in AI without having to understand how any kind of interconnector works. They've also launched agents, which basically means a starter pack to how you take your business foundation and run as much as possible so you can focus on what matters. And I will always say this, the foundation of a business is more important than any AI tool. Your Notion system should be your operations, your processes across your entire business. And if it's properly built, Notion AI on top of it becomes an actual multiplier of your output because it just takes those operations and processes and makes them faster, easier, and less time-consuming. And that's exactly why I built the complete business blueprint in Notion. It's an entire workspace that covers everything that any business of any size needs. It is pre-built for you with relations and automations that I've learned from 20 years of building businesses. You can grab that now, and you can build this into your own business simply by dragging and dropping and adding your information. This foundation is proven and tested, so layering Notion AI on top of it will mean that you can run an entire business for less time, less risk, and way less cost than ever before. Now, once your workflow is defined and your foundation is built, the next move to really use useful tools is automating those repeatable parts. And Make is my key standout product for that. And I have tried a ton. In fact, some people argue that Zapier is more beginner friendly, but I am a true believer in the opposite. Make is genuinely just big dumb buttons. You simply click through and add steps that are references of your workflows that are built, and it will show you logos and search by products. So you don't need to know that much at all about automations for setting it up. If you are not automating anything in your business yet, now is your sign to start. Pick one repetitive process, just one, and build it in Make. A really good one for this is your emails. Take your emails to a task list so you never have to check your inbox again, because we repeat this so many times on a day. I've actually got a video that shows you how to do this, so check that out. But honestly, Make is big dumb buttons. If you'd rather have someone else do this for you, map your workflows, automation, set them up for you, I do that. I've got a free resource linked in the description of this video that is a business diagnosis. And this will tell you where you could actually improve your processes or flows or your business. This will help guide where you can build on those automations, but I also work one-to-one with people to do it for them so they don't have to think about what is working the best. Now, I have tried a ton of AI tools, and as we have seen recently, agentic AI is the biggest thing pushed. And there are so many tools for this. Gemini is great, Lindy is great, Notion has its own agents now. You can build basically an org with agents. For anybody who wants to go beyond those individual starter automations and start building systems that can reason, act, work as an entire business for you, then agents might be the right decision for you. The difference between automation and agents is, again, quite an important distinction to make. Automations follow a fixed sequence. So these are your repeatable, low thought, same outcome, ongoing tasks, that fixed sequence. Agents can think. They can make decisions and choose what to do next based on context that you give them. Gemini Enterprise actually lets you build teams of agents that work together. One finds leads, passes them to another agent, that agent does the research, that gets handed over to a third that writes personalized outreach. Each agent has its own defined role. It's almost like having a team of people that you have hired, you have given a job spec to, you have given the context of your business to, and then you've kind of let them run themselves, with you managing the whole process and inputting where needed, rather than individually managing each step. I would only bring relevance into a business that already has its foundation and core automations in place. But for the right business at the right stage, this is the difference between spending tons of money either outsourcing or hiring versus scaling with those better systems that you've spent the time setting up. And that is what this entire channel and my entire business is about. Getting the system set up properly so that you can enable better scaling for far cheaper, and then you can focus on the things that drive modern businesses forward. Human connectivity, community, the things that AI will not replace. Now, out of the hundreds of tools that I've tried, those are actually the ones that I recommend. They are incredibly useful. They are better than any of the shiny ones that purport to do it all and build your entire business all in one place. They are also way more cost effective. But I just want to give a bit of a nod out to Google AI Studio. Now, I'm a bit biased because I was invited to the Gemini workshop before it all launched, but Google are working on some incredible AI tooling, and especially for small to medium-sized businesses. Gemini Enterprise is an entire function within Google that is building things that mean we can start, launch, and make bigger businesses better than ever before. Gemini's capabilities actually include the ability to build functional AI applications just by free describing what you want. I'm not saying that you should take this and start building apps. What I'm saying is this is a great tool, the best on the market, for anyone who wants to experience or experiment with what AI can actually do without committing to any technical project. It's good for thinking about things. It's good for building products on the fly. You can describe the app, it will build it, test it, and refine it. And then you can export the code if you'd want to and work with the developers directly. It's not a full production tool, which is where a lot of people get confused. It's not going to replace proper app development, but it is a great exploration tool. So if you have a product idea, if you want to go to market, instead of spending thousands and thousands of dollars and months of work, you can use this to test ideas, build your prototypes, and understand what's possible before completely committing to building anything. It's actually exceptional. In 2015, I had an idea for a dating app that I still think is incredible. And I spent so much money and about 8 months trying to get it to FDD. Now I can go to Gemini and I can write out what I want and it will give me a prototype within minutes that I can then use to test in the market, to build validation, and to perhaps get investment. It's completely game-changing, and when we think about testing and learning and getting an idea out to validation before putting time, effort, and energy into it. So that is my spread of the best tools that I have tested so far. And I have tested hundreds. Alongside all the ones I've tested and liked, there's been a few that have come up in every AI list that I've seen online that I just think is not worth your time and I would really steer away from because it's sometimes a bit of a distraction and extra noise. One of them is specific voice-to-text tools. I've told you about the capabilities of ChatGPT, but there are loads of companies building this functionality in its entirety. And whilst they are useful, it's a productivity hack that you can actually build in every other tool that you have. It's a nice to have, and when you think about AI tooling, you want to really hone in on ones that work for you. So Notion as an operating system is way more important than taking a voice note and transcribing that, because let's be honest, you can do that on your phone, you can do that in ChatGPT. I do like dedicated agent builders. Lindy is really fun to play around, but I do think that this is almost built for tampering rather than deep work. The businesses that are getting real results from AI aren't the ones that have this huge tech stack and the most tools, or that are investing the most money. The ones that are winning are those that define their operations clearly, build solid foundations, and then bring in very few but very specific tools to make that foundation work harder. If you want to actually benefit from AI tools that are hundreds, 10 to penny, all on the market right now, get your Notion operating system properly built. Start with ChatGPT and Claude, add in that automation layer when you have your repeatable workflows worth automating, and then bring in agentic AI when you are ready to build those workflows out at scale. Do not rush to buy everything on the market. Do not waste your time watching demo after demo after demo. I have spent my time doing that for you. If you are serious about utilizing AI for business building, start with the system, add the automation, and then see where it can get refined. Everything else is optional until you then scale to having a specific, well-defined problem that your system no longer serves. And if you want to know how to actually get to that point of having a clearly defined system that works for you instead of you working for it, how to map out your workflows, build your foundation, and then know where AI genuinely belongs in your business, I've actually got a whole video that does that. So watch it, maybe next. And if you just want me to do that, that's absolutely fine. I work with businesses of any size to make sure their systems and processes is set up properly, and then layer on automation and AI to save them time, effort, and cost. And if you want to learn more about this, do subscribe.